We are dealing with so many injuries that I am ready to just say, okay, yeah, can we cancel week 6 and can we just skip overall? But in reality, week 7 may just be as brutal and we have more bye weeks coming up. So now is the time to make sure you are on top of injuries. Now is the time to make sure that you are working the buys and working the waiver wire like a madman. But let's go ahead and let's dive into these. And as we get into it, hit that like button if you have not done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And you better believe it's Saturday and it's a good day to be a Texas Longhorn fan because we can't lose today because we do not play, ladies and gentlemen. But let's dive into our first, or let's go through some ones briefly. Khalil Herbert going to be out. With Khalil Herbert, he's on the IR. Roschon's out as well. Travis Homer's out as well. So you need to start Deonta Foreman. And Khalil Herbert on the IR makes it very difficult because we probably get Roschon Johnson back next week. So Foreman goes out there and crushes this week. And next week, we're in a spot where it's like, okay, do I go Roschon? Do I go Foreman? I don't want to jump ahead. Just make sure you are starting Deonta Foreman. He's the last guy standing. And, of course, hook 'em horns. Now, our next one that we will be looking at, Tank Dell is going to be out this week. So one of my favorite underdog pick'ems, I'll show you in just 1 second. Nico Collins looks a little bit better. And I think that Nico Collins is someone that you are going to have to go ahead and start. Treylon Burks is out as well. Now with Treylon Burks being out, give a bump up to this guy here in DeAndre Hopkins. His underdog pick'em right now is 59.5 receiving yards. Outside of that, doesn't really have any impact. You weren't looking to start Treylon Burks anyway. And we need to swing this around to our other injuries. And as we talk about Tank Dell being out, let me go through and show you that pick'em that I was talking about on Underdog. Where if you're looking at Nico Collins, I mean, if you wanted to go more than 57.5 receiving yards, you do you. But what I'm actually going to do is try to go for the double multiplier on your entire pick'em slip by just including Nico Collins to score a touchdown. Now, that's going to be if it's a double multiplier. Of course, if that was just even odds, then no way in hell we are taking that. But, I mean, give me a double multiplier. I'll take Nico Collins to score a touchdown. But let's pull up our next one. And, of course, if you're not already on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat in the description in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK. We get a 100% deposit match on Underdog, plus our updated rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. And now is by far and away the best time to get on Underdog because it was our birthday this week. So Underdog hooked y'all up. You get a Joe Burrow special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard when you sign up with promo code FLOCK. That's if you're new. And also because it was our birthday, Underdogs are good everybody up only with promo code FLOCK to a Justin Herbert special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard for Monday night. So please make sure you are taking advantage of that. Now going back over, Jahmyr Gibbs will be out this week. You weren't starting Gibbs anyway. It just makes Gibbs and his overall breakout ascension get pushed 1 week further back. And obviously, it's very difficult to imagine this guy making a big difference right now. And David Montgomery is a true workhorse back, and David Montgomery is a true must-start running back at this point. Amon-Ra St. Brown, not listed on the injury report. Amon-Ra St. Brown, please, for the love of God, play him. Should have bought him low last week. We had him as a buy low guy this week as well. I mean, remember, people are coming out here trying to tell you he's going to miss the rest of the season. Keontae Ingram not on the injury report. So if you look at the running backs in Arizona, I have no idea who it's going to be. I mean, it could be Ingram. It could be DeMarcado. So in reality, what I think we have to do is I think we have to sit on our hands. You probably want to roster both backs. Don't start either of them this week. Let the game play out and see who has the workload, look at the usage, and then determine if we want to start someone next week. Now, Hollywood Brown is listed as questionable for week 6. It's an illness 9 times out of 10 when a player is listed questionable with an illness. They'll take a Tums, they'll take a Dayquil, and they'll be good to go. Okay, so not expecting that Hollywood will miss. It will be something to keep an eye out. He will be playing in the later slate of games, though. So if it was like, oh, do I go Hollywood Brown or do I go with this wide receiver that's playing at noon and they're relatively close, just go with the noon guy. That way you don't have to worry about it. Jeff Wilson Jr. will be listed as doubtful. So if you have no Devon Achane and no Jeff Wilson Jr., Raheem Mostert, must start running back. For the love of God, fire him up. Juju Smith-Schuster listed as out. You weren't playing him. You weren't playing any New England Patriots. And yeah, I saw someone in the live chat last night ask if they should play Tyquan Thornton. For the love of God, it does not matter if Juju plays or not. You're not playing any of these guys. Now, this we need to expand a bit, but Bears running back room heading into week 6. You have no Khalil Herbert. You have no Roschon Johnson. You have no Travis Homer. So as we were mentioning, Deonta Foreman is the only guy left standing. You technically have Darrington Evans. Darrington Evans has nothing. Hookham Morans play Deonta Foreman. Now, T. Higgins did practice on Friday, but he is a game time decision. Okay. And maybe you see a full practice and go, okay, he's going to be good to go. Let me rely on T. Higgins. Let me play him. There's no reason to risk it. I mean, I learned my lesson last year. There were 2 games where T. Higgins was a game time decision and 2 games where we didn't know if he was going to be good to go, if we should play him. And what I said is if T. Higgins plays, T. Higgins is a talent that you need to have in your starting lineup. And what ended up happening was T. Higgins went out there and he was active and played 1 snap in both games and did not hit the field for the rest of the time. So if you're in like, say, a DFS tournament where you're going, I want a unique play from the rest of the field that not many people are going towards, and I just want to be unique overall and try to be the one guy on someone, maybe you look at T. Higgins. In your regular shallow redraft format, if you can avoid T. Higgins banged up with also a banged up Joe Burrow and wait until week 8, I would love to do so. I think Higgins could be an intriguing buy low candidate, but you're not playing him until week 8. Now, Darren Waller listed as questionable. Saquon Barkley listed as questionable as well. And without these guys being cleared, if they're not cleared by tomorrow morning, very difficult to imagine that you can go out there and start them, right? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you have no Daniel Jones. Talk about this in 1 second. But you have the spread on this game between the New York Giants and Buffalo Bills, 15.5 points. Is there any incentive for Saquon Barkley or Darren Waller to go out there and get bounced by the Buffalo Bills in a game where they are not healthy? If they're not healthy, there's no incentive. This is the Sunday night game. So probably going to look to go ahead and avoid them if we can. Of course, if they're cleared, good to go Sunday morning, then we can change our mind. But Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox still listed as questionable. If Dalton Kincaid does not play and Dawson Knox does, I think Dawson Knox could be a sneaky tight end 1 this week. Low end tight end 1, of course, but I mean, obviously, you're just throwing darts at the dartboard when it comes to any tight end, hoping for a touchdown. And obviously, Dawson Knox is playing in an elite level offense where there should be plenty of touchdowns to go around. Now, Sam Laporta does expect to play in week 6. And yes, we had Sam Laporta as a sell-high candidate earlier in this week. We were saying if you could sell Sam Laporta for TJ Hawkinson, if you could sell Sam Laporta for Mark Andrews, I still stand by. We want to go ahead. We want to do that. I personally have Sam Laporta ranked both as my tight end 4 this week and rest of season. Amon-Ra St. Brown coming back in. Jameson Williams expanding his role. Maybe we'll take some volume away from Sam Laporta. And for that reason, of course, if we can pivot over to TJ Hawkinson or Andrews, I probably look to do it. Jonathan Taylor will have more reps in week 6. I know this isn't an injury update, but I just want to say Jonathan Taylor over Zach Moss this week, okay? I know Zach Moss went out there and Zach Moss completely crushed last week. I do not think they paid Jonathan Taylor $42 million for Jonathan Taylor to stand on the sideline and look pretty. I think Jonathan Taylor will have a role. I think Jonathan Taylor will have a slightly larger role than Zach Moss this week. I'm expecting like a 60-40 split. And I do have Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss both ranked as low ends RB2s for this week. Now, Miles Sanders is ruled out. Chu Hubbard's going to get the majority of the work. So, yes, Chu Hubbard is someone that we can go ahead and start. Now, the issue is you're playing one of the worst offenses in the NFL. You're a 14-point dog against the Miami Dolphins. Now, you can say, well, Mason, Chuba Hubbard's, been getting used as a receiving back. And if you think Chuba Hubbard will be used as that receiver, then sure, go ahead and play him in a full PPR format. I think he's very similar to D'Onta Foreman, and I'd play Chuba Hubbard and D'Onta Foreman over both Arizona backs here. Now, we already looked at that. Now, Mike Evans will be playing week 6. So with Evans, I think you can be excited. I think you can go ahead and you can start Evans with confidence. Maybe you lower Godwin down in your rankings just slightly. I'm sure a lot of y'all have already seen this though, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in our pick'em video later today. But even with Evans playing, I still like the double X multiplier that you would have on Chris Godwin to score a touchdown. They have Godwin at 56.5 receiving yards, whereas you're seeing Mike Evans with a projection of 62.5. So I think you can start both wide receivers as low and wide receiver 2s. Now, Deshaun Watson will not be playing in week 6. And the report is you may not have Deshaun Watson for multiple weeks. It is crazy. We were told going into the bye that Deshaun Watson would be good to go in week 6. It's understandable to say, hey, we're playing the 49ers this week, my man. Take a week off. All right. We'll just take our L here. We'll roll over. We'll throw PJ Walker out to the Wolves. But yeah, this doesn't really impact too many teams outside of the Amari Cooper drafters. And I have Amari in a few spots, right? I will say I think the quarterback play will be a little bit better with PJ Walker, but at least for this week, with how bad the matchup is, you probably can't go through and play Amari Cooper with the backup quarterback going up against the toughest defense in the NFL. Now, Daniel Jones will not be playing week 6. Already did discuss this. And if you're looking at the Giants, I don't want to plan on having any Giant in our lineup unless we get clarity. We need the clarity that Saquon Barkley is good to go by tomorrow morning. The issue is he plays Sunday night, so we may not know. So we need that clarity because I don't want to start anybody in New York that may not play, and then Tyrod Taylor ends up being their starting quarterback anyway. And then I think that should be primarily it. Please let me know in the live chat right now if y'all have any injury-related questions that we weren't able to cover. I think the big thing is, obviously, no Miles Sanders, no Chicago backs. So I want to reiterate, the Arizona running backs, I want to be benching this week, seeing what the usage looks like, then possibly playing them next week. So like Brandon Ayuk for more than 48 receiving yards on Underdog. I think you can go ahead. I think you can play Chuba Hubbard with no Miles Sanders. And I think that you can play D'Onta Foreman with no Khalil Herbert and no Roschon Johnson. Because we know what the workload should look like for those guys, whereas the Arizona backs are a little bit uncertain. Hollywood, questionable with an illness. We don't know. I expect him to play, but he's playing later in the day. So if you're looking at a noon game with your other option, you probably got to play your other option. And then Jeff Wilson probably won't play. So, this week, probably want to go D'Onta Foreman. Now, I think that should be it. We're one like away from hitting 200 likes on this live stream. So if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. I'll be live later tonight. I'll be live tomorrow morning answering all your questions. And of course, if you wanted to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, like I said, one of my favorites right now, other than the Nico Collins 2X multiplier, would be Brandon Ayuk to have more than 48.5 receiving yards. And yeah, now's the best time to get on Underdog because if you use promo code FLOCK, they're going to match first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. Plus, you'll get our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. Plus, if you're new to Underdog, a Joe Burrow special pick of more than less than half a total yard. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, because it was our birthday this week, Underdog's hooking y'all up with a Justin Herbert special pick 'em as well, more than less than half a total yard. So please make sure you take advantage of that. Super happy we're able to get all of that for you. But thank you again. I really do appreciate y'all. I really hope I get to see you out in the live stream later tonight. And if not, I really hope that you have a great day and wish you the best of luck this Sunday.